Hi guys! I am still at home in New Hampshire, and I wanted to talk to you about my Disney Cruise Line audition experience because come February, I am going to start rehearsals to be a musical theater performer on the Wonder Ship for Disney Cruise Lines. I am so excited. Yeah, so let's just get into it. I do have an agent that I got signed with from my senior showcase. I went to Syracuse University for musical theater. And so I'm very lucky and grateful for that. I auditioned twice for a Disney Cruise Line. I got called in, I had an appointment. I sang for the first time in forever. And I am not a soprano. I am very much a belt mixer. In Kinky Boots, I was the top line in the ensemble, and that's like scrolting A's every night. So that's just like where I live. That's my comfort zone. So I worked for a long time on the material, but I never felt really super awesome about it. I tried to flip into my soprano and it didn't really mix. I felt comfortable with the acting because I'm very similar. She's like a goofy dork. So that was good, but I didn't feel awesome about it. So I went in, I sang it, and then they were like, oh, they were chatting. It was super nice. It was just the casting director. And he was talking to me and he was like, okay, like sing me something that like you love to sing. And so I sing my go-to in my book, which is I'm Not from Little by Little, big belty piece. And then he was like, great. And then we read through the scenes and stuff and he said, thank you. And then I didn't get called back, and I don't think I shouldn't have. It was correct. And so time went on and I was like, oh, like bummer. But couple months passed, and then I got another appointment for Disney Cruise Line. I was like, interesting. So I worked even more on the music. I'd been singing it like in the time between because I don't like when I am not able to sing something. And so I was like thinking about it, you know. Honestly, a lot of practicing is everything, but also just thinking about it and like thinking about your voice and just like getting your mind wrapped around a song and the material is also really helpful. Like if you just think about it a lot and listen to it and just try to feel it in your body. Like it's like when I was on the diving team in high school, LOL, I can't dive. But they would talk about how Olympic divers like spend a lot of time watching and visualizing because that has a lot to do. If you can't visualize it, you can't do it. So I find a similar thing with singing. Obviously, actually doing it is essential, but if you're thinking about it and working through it in your mind it does a surprising amount of work. So I did that for a couple months, and then I got the appointment again. I think it was for a new ship, I'm not really sure, but it was just another casting call, another appointment from my agent, and so I sang the music again. I think I was in better health. And I was able to find a way to mix it all, aka belt it all, without it sounding like I was skrelting, and I was really happy with it. I finally found a way that I felt confident about the way I sounded, and so I was very excited. And then so I went in, and all this time I was also already registered for classes at grad school, so like my stress about it was like very low because I was like, I'm probably not going to get this. I'm already going to grad school. Like I have a great path set up for me. Not stressing about it. So I go in, calm, casual, just fun. I feel confident about the material finally. I go in, I sang it. There were 2 people in the room this time, and it went really well. Did the scenes, felt comfortable with them. And by this time I had practiced them for like months, so I was like off book. And then they're like, have you ever sung the big song? And I was like, yep. And they're like, do you know it? Like, is it in your wheelhouse? And I was like, yep. And they're like, do you know it? And I was like, yep. And they're like, do you want to do it? And I was like, yep. And so they're like, all right, well, let's do it. And so they gave me the sheet music, and I had already been singing it at a singing ice cream shop I worked at for like a month. So like I'd been doing it a lot. So I sang it on the piano, and they're like, oh, great. And they're like, let's read sides. I was like, okay, great. They're like, okay, let's give you a callback. I was like, okay. Excited. because I was too short, but they still gave me a callback because I can belt. And then after my appointment, I stayed with 2 other girls, and we learned a quick dance, which was easy for me. I grew up as a dancer, so learning combos is easy for me. It had a battement to the side and a double pirouette, and that's the only technical things. 3 steps turn, which didn't even have to be on releve. So it was very much see what you can do, see if you can move. If you have the high kicks, if you like, you can tell if you're a dancer by doing that, but if not, that's fine. So I learned that, and like I was still in I like had like a floral dress on, and I didn't pack character shoes, I didn't pack workout clothes, leotard, shorts, anything. And so I was like, but luckily I wore sneakers because I was gonna wear my heels on the way to the audition, because I don't know how anyone walks around New York City in heels, my goodness. But so I looked like a fool, but they're like, you can just mark it, like it's fine, this is just to learn it for your mind, because at the callback you're gonna do it. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I look a mess, but whatever. We laughed about it. And I had 2 other girls in there with me, so it was fine. And then I came back a couple days later, started out, walked in, I think there were 5 people in the room this time. Started out singing Let It Go, did the sides, and then they're like, have you read for, it's like, yeah, I did like 2 days ago. They're like, okay, let's sing that. So I sang that, did her sides, like, okay, how is your like soprano? And I was like, honestly, it's not my forte, but I can try. And they're like, okay, great, let's go to the piano and vocalize you. And I was like, what? So we did some like head voice vocalizations, which was terrifying, but I did it, tried my best. And they're like, okay, let's sing, have you ever sang Someday My Prince Will Come? And I was like, no, like I know like the melody chorus. And they're like, okay, well, let's try. So they gave me the music, I sight read it with the piano, sang it twice. They gave me some notes about like placement, should be younger sounding, more nasal, so I tried my best on that. I didn't feel great about it, but they seemed pleased. And then they're like, okay, we're thinking, like, we like you. And they literally said, like, you're really talented, but you're just making us think. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. Like, but so they needed to figure out where I would go, because I'm not the typical soprano, but I figured out how to belt it, and I guess I liked it. So anyways, and then they're like, okay, let's sing For the First Time in Forever again. And then they asked me to move around the room more, and then they're like, okay, really run around the room. Because they also wanted to see the sustainability of my belt. Because if I was moving and out of breath and then I couldn't hit the notes, then what's the point? So I did that, and they're like, okay, great. And then they gave me one note on to like pull it back a little bit on one of the higher notes, and I did it, and they're like, okay, wonderful, like thank you so much. And I was like, great. And I felt really good about the work I did, tried my best. I was very calm and like relaxed because it was fun, and I didn't have the pressure, which was, I'm sure, which is why it went so well, because I was like not banking on it, you know what I mean? And so then I waited a little bit, bonded with the people in the waiting room. I love talking to people. There's always a connection, always a connection. You have to find it. It's great. And so we had fun waiting, and then we all danced together, and I felt really good about it. I brought my dance clothes to change into. Yeah, and so then they were like, okay, you're gonna know in 3 weeks. A week later, the day before Thanksgiving, I got the call from my agent that I booked Frozen, the first professional lead I've ever gotten. And then, so there's Frozen, the musical Spectacular, and then there's the Golden Mickeys, and then there's Disney Dreams. I was over the moon, I was shaking, I was shocked, thrilled. I still am just so excited about it. Then we had to work out some details because both my brothers are getting married this summer. We had to approve some leaves. They approved the first one, not the second one. There's a chance they might approve the second one later. Lots of tears, lots of heart-to-hearts. We decided the best decision was for me to take the contract. I haven't signed it yet, but that should be any day now. I did a background check. So they told me I got it, sent some information, like the pay and stuff like that. Then I did a background check, then I did a medical examination, and then now I'm just waiting for my contract, and then it will be all signed, sealed, and delivered. I am just, it is a dream that I didn't want so badly, because a lot of my friends have done Disney ships and they love it. Everyone says Disney is the best company to work for. I've always loved Disney. Now I'm gonna know the ins and outs. I'm gonna be a cast member, and I'm gonna be a lead in a musical. And that is a dream that I thought I had given up on. Not given up, but just moved past. And it's happening, and it's wild, and I feel so blessed and lucky. And once I get my contract, I'm gonna call Montclair and ask to defer for a year, because I still do want to become a therapist long term, but I'm overwhelmed. I really am. My ship will go to Hawaii first, and then Alaska, which I'm so excited about. Doing Frozen in Alaska, are you kidding? And then we go to Mexico, and then we end in the Western Caribbean in Bahamas. So I'm gonna be spoiled rotten. I am so excited. I got lots of Frozen things for Christmas. Yeah, I am very grateful, and just when you make a plan, the universe tells you otherwise. So there you go. You gotta go with it. Try your best at everything you do, and you might have a new dream come true. So yeah, I'll try to film along the ship. I'm so excited. Yeah, okay.